We're going to come back in just a moment with Miss Sports Biz, Christy Dosh, and she's going to show us the money.
Hi-oh.
Next.
For all the biggest stories in the sports biz, we've got the perfect mind for the business of sports. Ms. Sports Biz, Christy Dosh, is next.
Sports Night. Time to talk a little bit about some sports business now with Miss Sports Biz, Christy Dosh. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Good to be here.
What is with this hard slot in baseball? And I want to lead off by talking about the fact that the #1 overall draft choice, Bryce Harper, signed at the last second before the deadline for signing $9.9 million. One, how crazy is it that you give an untested rookie, even though he's #1, $9.9? And what is this hard slot about, and what does it mean to baseball?
You know, the money he got's a record for a position player. Not really all that surprising, though. I think we all knew it was going to happen. I think we all knew it was going to be down to the last second. And that's why people are calling for the hard slotting. That would assign a set signing bonus depending on where you were drafted, and you wouldn't have these last-minute deals.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them didn't sign this, right?
Yeah, starting on Monday morning, there were 17 first-rounders who hadn't signed yet. And 30 minutes before the deadline, there were still 10 of them.
Yeah, so the need for that's pretty clear. I don't know if it really matters to anybody. Does it matter with the amount of money these guys are going to make? In other words, if they put in a hard slot, would it reduce the amount of money an agent might get for a player?
Well, the Players Association has spoken out and said they won't support hard slotting, and it's because it's going to depress, or it would have the possibility to depress salaries on the major league level. Now major league players can point to a minor leaguer and say, hey, he's unproven and he got X amount of money. I did XYZ last year. I want more money than that.
I got you. So they could get into the whole debate issue with that.
Right.
All right. I want to talk about the K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez, who got into a thing, dust up with his common law father-in-law, if there is such a thing. I don't know if that's what you can call it or not. And then he injured himself. Now he's not going to be able to play for the rest of the season, and his team's not wanting to pay him.
No, last night we found out they put him on the disqualified list, converted his contract to a non-guaranteed contract. It was kind of an interesting move because I thought that they were probably, if they wanted to get rid of him, that they were going to try to work out some sort of settlement with him. Teams have not fared well in the past when they've tried to void contracts.
Yeah, in the courts you're talking about.
With the arbitrator.
Or with an arbitrator. Is that where this is headed?
I think so. The Players Association isn't going to let this stand. It would set a dangerous precedent for other off-the-field actions. When we have a lot of them, so they're not going to allow that to happen.
Okay, let's talk a bit about the Associated Press has a new survey out, and in that survey they found that more than half of the 42 states who have agent laws regulating what sports agents can do and what their ethical behavior is and their legal behavior, more than half of them haven't done anything. They've not invoked any kind of penalties. They've not had any suspensions or anything else. Is this any way at all to handle the agent talking inappropriately to college players? Is this any way to handle it?
You know, the states are going to have a tough time with this. In most states, the Secretary of State's office handles these investigations. And I know we've talked before about the investigation in North Carolina right now. They're having to use securities fraud investigators to look into that. That's not a good solution, and that's why you're not seeing a whole lot.
So do you think this is going to cause the NFL and the NCAA and colleges to find another solution to the agent problem?
I think so. I think the pro leagues are going to have to do something about it. They're the ones with all the power.
Kind of started from the top. Okay, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Players Union in the National Football League. Now, we're talking about extending the season, and it's imminent, in my opinion, from 16 to 18 games. When that happens, my question to you is, what is the Players Union going to say? Aren't they going to rebel against this and say, give us a lot more money?
Yeah, I hear there was a meeting back in the spring where this was discussed, and the NFL said, hey, look, we'll implement a developmental league. We'll change the injured reserve rules. We'll allow bigger rosters. They were throwing all sorts of things at the players. The players I've heard aren't buying it.
Well, every week I want to ask you this because you know about the sports business world. I want to call it Show Me the Money. And if you were talking about a couple of the stories we've talked about today, what are your Show Me the Money awards?
I think there's two this week. I think the first one is Darrelle Revis, who obviously is holding out in the NFL. But the other one, because I love baseball so much, has to be the 10 guys who held out to the final 30 minutes. 7 of those guys ended up signing with their team. They held out. They asked the team to show them the money.
And Darrelle Revis is saying, show me the money. He's still not in Jets camp, and after we saw that Giants game, they need him.
Absolutely.
This is Miss Sports Biz, Chris.